everybody. That sounded like Kermit the Frog there for a second. This is Justice's Waiting Room, a daily live podcast where we discuss news and politics. So loud. My name is Jared. I am your host, and hey, you know what? I'm gonna have a good day, and you know why? Watch a video today suggests that Israel had infiltrated the ICC and was leaking information. Uh, remember, I'm trying to remember. And again, I'm kind of one of those people. I'm not trying to rub anything in. I could turn into that person very quickly if you'd like. But one of the things that I wanted to point out, are we early or something? Yeah, no. We're on time. First time in a while. Israel infiltrated the ICC and were leaking information. Who it was has been found out. That information was given to me this morning. So, good morning and happy Tuesday. Also, I know a lot of people are concerned about Greg Abbott threatening to arrest Texas Democrats for fleeing the state. Something I learned from, hey Debs, something I learned from a beautiful black woman that's an elected official. I can't remember her name. I want to say her last name. I want to say it's Joni Carter. Probably wrong. She said that that man does not, Greg Abbott does not have the authority to have someone arrested, so he can't do that. This is all for sound bites. Also, when you do get an arrest warrant, they're not good in another state. So he can't have someone arrested in Chicago or have someone arrested in New York. Um, but because he can't have someone arrested. I know I'm wearing like a dingy T-shirt this morning. It's actually a T-shirt from my business. It's me. This is my failure. I wear it proudly. I had the opportunity to build my own business. Um, I got a lot of help from people that I care about, and I was enamored with the amount of people that gave me free game and wanted to see me succeed. And the only reason it didn't happen is because of COVID. That's it. We had everything. hmm So Twitch was lagging like a motherfucker. Okay. So yeah, I want you to have a great day. Know that Benjamin Netanyahu used his pawns to infiltrate the ICC and keep the ICC off his back because he had somebody inside leaking him information. So to all of you that wondered how come the ICC never seems to be able to nab Benjamin Netanyahu, there's the answer to your question. Uh, is Mossad, the Israeli intelligence, uh, infiltrated ICC? Ta-da! That will resolve itself. And then, yeah, that and the Texas Democrats that fled, them fleeing to avoid quorum so that Texas can't vote to gerrymander. They're not in charge. The Democrats are in charge. The Democrats could gerrymander Texas, but Republicans can't do that. So them threatening to do it and Donald Trump trying to like force it to happen, not only can it not happen, Greg Abbott can't have anyone arrested. That's not within his like authority. hmm And the people that fled, the Democrats that fled the state to avoid quorum, um, the penalty is like a fine, like $500. So Greg Abbott's blowing fucking smoke, absolutely uncouth, has absolutely no clue what the fuck he's doing. Donald Trump is an idiot. This shit is a burning fucking yeah. Yeah, the Democrats in Texas. You know, they say Everything's bigger in Texas. I hope it extends to the balls. So the question of the day, Squint asks, so will they clean up the ICC and remove his plants? They identified them. I watched a video today on Twitch where some British journalist was like, "Yeah, it's this guy and this guy," and you're like, "Oh yeah, shit, that sucks." He's an Israeli attorney. He works for the ICC. It's a pretty strong threat. I like it. I like bold. Mm-hmm. So certainly not necessarily Texas. But yeah, again, we called it Justice's waiting room, and I tried to tell you that justice does not look like what you think it does not feel like, smell like, taste like what you think it does. She's a cold bitch too. Okay, but I feel good today. I might stream today. Hey, I got a monetization on Twitch. I haven't set anything up because that's not why I'm here. Um, we'll get around to it. Eventually, someone will tell me how much money I'm missing out on. And we'll do the damn thing. Yeah, it's a move in the right direction. So yeah, Greg Abbott is weak and powerless, and the ICC is about to do a little cleanup on aisle two, and we'll get right back to that shit. Because I know there's a lot of people that every day that people like, Elon Musk was really quiet for 3 months and got $29 billion from Tesla. How the fuck is he getting paid $29 billion when Tesla's like going out of fucking business? That doesn't make any sense. We are on day 7 of Sydney Sweeney Discourse on Fox News and Friends. And he said, "Give me your Cash App instead. I ain't trying to give no corporation your cut. No shit." Twitch is one of those things. If you use Amazon, you get a free Twitch Prime sub. And again, I'm only live for 90 minutes, and I'm not here to make money, babes. I got monies. You get me? If I ever feel like I need to grift, Lord help us. Jesus Christ. I fucked up. You know what I mean? Because like I have a really good job. Yesterday, I got pulled off of doing my job to talk with marketing. And they were just like, "Okay, so you're an employee and you're a customer. Can you tell us about each experience?" And she like recorded it so she could clip it. And I mean, for like 45 minutes, your boy just got to like sound off on the gig. Gabby says they started building a Tesla dealership near me. It's almost done. It's been sitting there with no activity for months. Yeah, yeah. Jesus Christ. This is just the beginning. Tourism in Las Vegas down by 10% in just June. In just June. And again, I think this is something Donald Trump wants. His casinos have always been market failures, so he's happy to see Vegas fail because I never felt like Donald Trump fit in Vegas. He's more of an Atlantic City. Turns out he's more like a swamp thing from South Florida. So remember how he said, I watched a video today. Yeah. One of the things that I saw, I think it was Mr. Global. Mr. Global said the original job reports that came out, the one that Donald Trump reacted to, was doctored. And you're just like, wait, what? And he was like, yeah, the original jobs report that and I don't think it was Mr. Global. That's a lie. But the original jobs report that came out that information was doctored. Like those numbers were pumped up, and he was unhappy. From what I understand, they're cooking the book. Oh yeah, the original numbers that came out, all they did was add a zero. And the way, for, yeah, I think someone said the way they could tell was the way they didn't redo the graphic. And they were like, they didn't add 70,000, they added 7,000. They didn't add 140,000, they added 14,000. Like, the job reports is way worse than they were even admitting initially. So, God, I wish all those people that are going to go on unemployment and play PlayStation for the next few months while they fart around and try to find a job would protest. Yeah. Cook the fucking books. Yep. Plaster his name and fucking likeness everywhere. Make it about him. You know what's hilarious? Yeah, and that's what I came in the door talking about. Yeah, Mossad infiltrated the ICC. Thomas Lynch. Hmm. Yeah, right. All right. Today marks the beginning, or yesterday? Yesterday started the Boeing jet and weapon workers strike. So, solidarity with Boeing workers. No, you're good. I was just making sure you knew. Like, I came in on that tip. Because a lot of people around me are like, oh, the ICC ain't gonna do shit, and it's like, oh, the ICC got infiltrated by fucking Mossad. Thomas Lynch, he's the one that got the head con to step down. Yeah, that shit's all getting uncovered now. So hey, we'll just wait and let that shit come out. So Thomas Lynch was linked was nah 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 nah. I'm not mad at you. Thomas Lynch was leaking information from the ICC to Bibi. So for all of you that had all of you that had all them questions, why the fuck ain't ICC doing shit? Answered. Answered. Today's gonna be a great fucking day. I don't want to hear another fucking word. Next person asks me what the fuck is wrong with the ICC. Oh, we already figured that out. Mossad infiltrated the ICC, and got the head guy to step down due to allegations of sexual misconduct. And it turns out that he was also leaking information to Israel. He's part of Mossad. He's a U.S. attorney. Hmm. Traitors. Yeah, someone picked it out. Someone picked it out and said they didn't even change the graphic when they put out the original jobs report. They doctored the visual. What the fuck? And it was like, so wait, the shitty jobs report that came out was doctored. Yes. It was actually way worse. Yes. How do we know this? They didn't even take the time to adjust the graphic that they were showing. Cleaning crew will be busy. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. I wonder who their new con's gonna be. See, when I saw the jobs report, I thought it looked doctored. The initial. I was just like 140,000. That doesn't track. This isn't a hiring month. I've run businesses. Like August, July, August, that's not when you hire people. It's when it's hottest outside. It's when it costs the most to operate. Why the fuck would you want to be onboarding? Just saying. The jobs you hire in September. You hire late Q3. Mm, late Q4, sorry. If you're going to get a job, you want to get a job before the holidays. Not even good at criming. Heard the pitter patter of doggy feet. Yeah, it's rare. It's rare they're awake at this hour. Cause I get up. We're up at like 4 o'clock because we're 4 a.m. clubbers. So we're up at like 4, and then Taylor would prefer to sit in the living room by herself in the dark with Shepherd, our other dog, for a couple hours in the morning, so that she feels like he gets some love because he don't sleep in a room with us. Um, and leave me in the bedroom with the two pit bulls and a German Shepherd. So we are laying there in a pile, and then eventually, most of the time, I go back to sleep until I hear the garage door shut, and then I realize, okay, she's gone. Right after we said like good morning somewhere in there. Then once she leaves the house, I get up and I go walk the dogs at like just after 6 a.m. Hmm. And I take them one by one because I didn't leash train them. And you know how, I don't know if you've ever figured this out. Not every dog is meant to be walked by every, like my wife can't really walk Ernie. She's huge. Not my wife. Ernie is a massive German Shepherd. That's not real good for a short girl to walk. No, she getting drug around by that German Shepherd, the dog. My thing that Democrats need to do is lose fear. And they are starting to. Like Jasmine Crockett, AOC, Bernie Sanders level of fear. And a lot of Dems don't want to bite the hand that feeds them. But it's time. It's just time. It's all getting exposed over. You know what I mean? And all they can say is fake news. Like the fuck, Jesus. But yeah, I came in feeling pretty good this morning. Feeling pretty good, man. Because I don't know, right? I'm just a dude. I don't know nothing. So when people are getting upset, like, man, you were talking about how the ICC don't miss and shit like that, and it's like, I can't like make those people do their job. Like, I don't. That's an international court, yo. The fuck? What am I gonna do? What am I gonna do? Tweet them to death? Like, come on, man. No. Nope. Because here's what the way this is gonna work. I don't know if any of you have ever paid attention, but eventually what's gonna happen is Democrats are gonna start arming themselves and having full-time security, and one of these idiots is gonna step in the wrong motherfucker's path, trying to take down another lawmaker. Because if you think all these people that are enriching themselves in office, where Kevin asked Donald J. Trump where Epstein's room is, that's funny. Bruce has been acting so funny lately. My cat is a big boy. He's a big fat boy. Um, he doesn't normally let me pick him up. He runs from me and he plays with Ernie. Ernie and Bruce like chase each other around the house and shit all day. It's cute as hell. Our house is a mess, otherwise I would show you, but like our carpet's destroyed. Like it's awful. Um I think it's probably AI and I don't know that I would get too wrapped up in that. But that would be hilarious if that's actually in the movie. But anyway, what's going to happen is Democrats are going to start protecting themselves, and somebody's going to push up on one of these elected officials and try to do something stupid and get clapped. Is what's going to fucking happen. See, if you're like a big burly dude and you love democracy and you really just want to you just want to rough somebody up, become a bodyguard. Like personal security. Mhm. Hey, Val. Oh, it wasn't Epstein's room, it's just a joke. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Oh, I came back across the fucking the group that tortured cats and shit. What the fuck? Oh shit. Florida reports 21 cases of E. coli infections linked to raw milk. Who's still out here buying raw milk? Morning, Jen. Here's a Reuters story where Florida's out here fucking it up. Florida Department of Health said on Monday there have been 21 cases of, we're going to learn how to pronounce that word, Campylobacter and E. coli infections linked to drinking raw milk, including children, 6 children under 10. Now, listen, I'll back up and say, okay, when we say raw milk, do we mean unpasteurized? Is that is that what we're saying? Man, all those Hollywood kids are getting abused. Yeah. Yep. Fun story. So I'm not a good-looking man, but when I was a little kid, my cousins are models. I think I've told y'all this story before. My Aunt Marilyn, who is a looker herself, just an older woman when I met her, had two young kids my age, I think a little younger. Ashley, and I can't remember her brother's name, and they're models. And I hung out with them when I was a teenager into before I could drink. And what they talked about, because they were runway models. So they traveled all over the world and got flown places and handed stuff and were treated nice. And for a better part of 2 decades, my cousin's midsection was on Calvin Klein's underwear, his joint, and his fucking drawers. He was like a kickboxer. Mhm. But anyway, the reason I was telling you, bragging about my cousins being like runway models, is that they were both happy and healthy and like made plenty of money and like they were young and they were skinny, but they weren't unhappy, especially my male cousin. And what they talked about was they knew all the famous kids, like all the actors and shit. And they talked about how fucking miserable they are and like how all of their friends are unhappy. Yeah, he made oodles of American dollars because he was a runway model and an underwear model. And the underwear model is like you go do this photo shoot and then they use that for the next fucking decade and just put a different pair of underwear on it. And occasionally he gets called in and they ask him if he wants to do another shoot, to replace it. But he was on the CK cover. He got pay. Like last I heard, 2.7 million, and that was only for part of it. Because he got residuals. C says she had a E. coli. Yep. And what's funny is you'd have thought that these two people got run up on by people all the time, thinking that they're just the hottest shit ever. And you know what's funny? Hanging out with them in public, people asked them if they were sick. And you just be like, that man, his dick is inside underwear on more packages worldwide than you'll ever, you know what I mean? And also, he's been on every major runway, and he's been a runway, he was a runway model for like 20 years. You know what I mean? Yeah. And have people be like, do you need a biscuit? And you're like, I think that was a skinny joke, Ash. And like Ashley was pretty, but she was pale and she didn't tan very well. So she had to wear stuff that made her look tan. And then when she was done modeling, she would take a shower bath and get all that shit off of her. And she looked kind of sickly. It just bear with me. She looked kind of sickly because she's a skinny model. And we'd be out somewhere and they'd be like, do you need something to eat? And the only thing is, they were healthy, made plenty of money, happy, supported, had agents, like flew, fine dine, like they did all that shit. They were bored. We would wait to eat until we were hungry so we could go eat White Castle. You know what I mean? Like we were still young, we were kids. They were making fucking killing ass money. But yeah, every now and then I'd be at a party at Purdue and I'd get a phone call and they'd be like, "Where are you?" And I'd be like, I think I'm at Skulls." And they're like, "We're coming through. There's 30 of us." And I'm like, "How are you getting here?" And they're like, "We're on a Greyhound." Like, "Oh." And they get a Greyhound, get into cabs, and show up at Skulls. And it's like my cousins and all their friends. Like, "What are y'all doing here?" And like, "Oh, we just come through and party." And then half hour later, every one of them girls that came into Skulls, all them boys in Skulls that I saw for the next 2 years would come up to me and be like, "I don't know who the fuck you are, but you're somebody." And I'm like, "I don't understand." And they're like, "There was this Skulls party that there weren't any girls at." And I'm like, "Well, it was Skulls. That's a all male fraternity." It's gonna be all dudes. And they were like, yeah, no, I was at this party and these super hot fucking girls showed up. And I was like, oh, that was my cousin and her friends. And they were like, but they were all over this Skull's house and there were stripper poles. And these girls worked these poles and were making money. Like some of them girls when we went to IHOP, some of them girls were pulling cash out of their drawers and shit. Like the girls would be like, "Oh, I had a great time at that party," and they're like, "Why do I have two fives? All I did was dance and like have a good time." But yeah, that happened pretty consistently for like a 2 year period. I'd just be doing something. Where are you? "Oh, I'm at a casino." Why? Ah, we're gonna come through and party. Okay. And it wouldn't even matter. They weren't even partying with me. They were just in the same building. hmm What I figure, Gabby, is they had to put one down and get milk out of it. Think about it. Don't you think they had to kill the first one? And they realized that, oh, it has nipples. Oh, it has the nipples secrete milk. Oh shit, we killed a mother. We killed the mother. And then they like back up. Like next time they see one, they don't kill that. They just fucking try to lasso that shit and drag it somewhere, tie it to a pole, and say, "Stay here. Here's a bunch of hay. Try not to die. We're gonna go find a steer." Right? They go out and find a steer. They probably had to kill that shit too. And they realize you can milk a steer. You're just not gonna get. You know what I mean? It's a different kind of goo, right? And so they realize like, okay, can't milk that. You probably don't want to kill it either, except it has giant fucking horns, right? So they cut off the horns, and then every now and then they let that bull go around that cow or sow, and yeah, cow, and eventually mate and make another one. And I know that's like a complicated way of explaining how to breed cows, but somebody asked, "How do you think we figured we can drink cow milk?" I imagine you probably kill the first one and dissect it. Per science, I don't know that I'm probably wrong. I don't know how the discovery of new species exists when it could trample you, right? So somebody asked in my comments section, "Hey man, how do you think we figured out we can drink cow milk?" Well, we killed a woman. We killed a female. We killed a female cow, and we dissected it, and we figured out that it can produce milk. And then we were like, "Shit, shouldn't have killed that." And then we were like, "Let's go find another one." And they went and found another one. They're like, "Okay, it's another cow. Don't kill this one. It makes milk, right?" And I go, and there's a lot of people that are like, "They didn't kill cows first," and I'm like, "They murdered. That was like the third thing they did. Like, what are we talking about? We hardcore kill stuff. That's like what the fuck we do." Bob said this is going to feet somehow. I really wasn't. I really wasn't. I really wasn't thinking about toes. But I can. But yeah, you saw the baby drinking milk. I see. I didn't know. Do baby cows drink milk from the cow? Then that would be observation, which is part of the scientific theory. So, hey, thanks for keeping me on my toes. Good question, though. I imagine you either kill one and dissect it to find out that it can produce milk, or you observe it feeding its young, and you're like, hey, I wonder what that shit tastes like. I don't think you just walk up to a cow and start milking it off rip. You know what I mean? People are asking. I'm saying you observe and you're like, okay, it looks like it feeds its young through its nipples. This all passes because that's how we feed our young. Uh, Wait, so what are you gonna do? Jump on its back and choke it out and then milk it? And like, no, you'd probably kill the first one. Down it, dissect it, learn everything you can about it, and then go find another one. First of all, you're gonna eat for a while. Right, that's how they resist illness, by the baby cow drinking mama's milk. Thank you. Good job, everybody. Sean P. Diddy Combs has been denied bail while he awaits sentencing. Remember, it's a money grab. The U.S. is going to require $15,000 bonds for tourist visas under their new pilot program, where they're commodifying everything. Hmm. Yeah. See, Bob gets it. Don't make any goddamn sense. What are you going to do? Figure four leg lock it to death? I might. Governor Hot Wheels ain't gonna do shit. Donald Trump's bullying Greg Abbott. That's why he's lashing out like that. Leader Schumer calls on the FBI to immediately launch a counterintelligence threat assessment into the national security risks posed by Donald Trump's potential connection to the Epstein files and ensure foreign adversaries cannot leverage the files against our government. Hell yeah. Jasmine Crockett called Donald Trump a piece of shit, which is like the nicest thing that I've said about Donald Trump in a long time. Who the fuck is Sean Duffy? Here's GOP Rep Kevin Kiley proposing a bill that would ban mid-decade redistricting nationwide. See, Kevin Kiley is learning. Uh, Sean Duffy is the Secretary of Transportation. I would know who it is, but fuck Donald Trump and anyone that is part of his fucking administration. So I'm gonna put on a hoodie. I'm gonna try. Hold on. It's getting cold. Sorry. Yeah, he's gonna try and fail to gerrymander the election. Jesus, of course he looks like a rapist. Ain't nobody sitting on that face. Gareth Ward, an Australian politician convicted of rape, is fighting from his jail cell to remain a member of the New South Wales State Parliament. Gareth Ward last month was found guilty of sexually assaulting two young men, aged 18 and 24, at his home, and now is in custody pending sentencing. He's an Australian politician. should resign. Yo, I was talking about how my cousins are like career models. NBC News is reporting this model was arrested after their husband was found stabbed to death in a New York City apartment. Yo. None of those people. I don't know those people. Y'all are going to be crazy shocked to find out that typically befriend men. You know what I mean? To quote Deion Sanders, we're not coming, we're here. Fascism's here. I think it's a pretty important article, probably not the greatest source. Uh, People's World. I don't know that. Never heard of it. and said that guy looks the part. Like, yeah, he looks a little rapey. Yeah. So does Elon. So does Donald Trump. So did Jeffrey Epstein. They look like creeps. Mm. Hey, ladies, it's time to get the gat. You know what I'm saying? Aim for the head. Top dead center, right here. One of your videos blew up, Jay, the one about Kamala. Yeah, I got a lot of positive messages off that. Like, they're coming. You know what I mean? A little rapey. Yeah, yeah. Miller looks like Shitler. He's Stephen Goebbels. See, the thought process is Stephen Miller's impotent and hates his brown wife. J.D. Vance hates his brown wife. Donald Trump hates his immigrant wives. And so everyone has to suffer because these men are in unhappy marriages. Can you imagine if these guys actually liked their wife? Holy shit. I bet they wouldn't be being racist all the time. Getting fucking booed everywhere they go. Ha! Meanwhile, I want to point out that I posted a joke that I thought was funny. Um, where I said people keep asking me about Sydney Sweeney, and I keep saying, "Are you talking about Sid from Ice Age in Blue Jeans?" And I posted that as a bit, like it's just a little joke. And the comments I got on TikTok were like, "Who asked you?" And do you have a test audience that you run this by before you post it? And I'm like, are you defending her honor? Like, are you white knighting A white nationalist? She's not gonna fuck you. You know that, right? Yeah, that's we've been talking about how Donald Trump ordered an investigation into what took place at the conversation between JD Vance and Rupert Murdoch. Republicans have issued arrest warrants for those wily Democrats, and they're not enforceable. Here it is, Obama. Obama's next, baby. Yeah. Here's what I think. When you look like that, I think that your parents were related. I know that there are men on this planet that see Sydney Sweeney and they think peak. I see that and I see cousins. That's what I see. Hmm. When you see someone that eh, eh, they didn't get much from mom and dad because mom and dad was sharing a lot of DNA. I just want to continue to point this out. Racism, if you're a racist, that means you're also capable of incest. Allow me to explain. If you only like people that look like you are more likely closely related to that person. So, if you're a white person and you look at Sydney Sweeney and you're like, good, you're probably her cousin. You fucking idiot. If you ever think about it, there's this whites only community being built in Arkansas and Missouri. Cousin fuckers. What are we talking about? If you're both white and from the same town, how far back till we're cousins? Not that fucking far. It's just fucking true. And you go far enough, you take it to an extreme enough, what's really going on here? A lot of sister and cousin fucking going on around here. That's what happens when I get around white people. Hmm. When I get around white people, I'm like, why are you looking at your niece like that? Why are you looking at your granddaughter like that? Why you talk to people like that? Is you don't have anybody like me in your life that can like hear and understand the dumb shit that you say and call you out for that. But yeah, at this point, this is where I am in my development as a human being. If you're a racist, I think that you're okay with incest. And I would like you to debate me. I would like you to explain, I would like you to split the fucking hairs between surrounding yourself with only people that look like you and wanting to fuck those people too. I just want to point that out. If that's what it is, you're okay with incest. Hmm. Because if you only want to be around people that look like you, how long before you start to have some fifis for your cousin? Right? Right? I've been saying it. I've been saying it since like 8th grade. When you learned about organisms that look the same, that are like you share fucking DNA. You're look, when I was a young man, I met my cousin Jackie, and she was a pretty girl. And there was a summer where we spent a lot of time together. But I'm a fucking fully developed human that was like, that's my cousin. I'm supposed to protect her, not like have eyes for her because it's like improper. I was in 8th grade, right? Where I was like, okay, this is a friend. Friend? Like when I had my housewarming party, my cousin Jackie showed up, right? Yep. But if you're MAGA, in my mind, I'm like cousin fucker. Yep. Hmm. Like when I see a couple and they don't look anything alike, he's white and Asian, she's black as the fucking night is dark, and I'm like, they gonna have some fucking banging ass kids. And typically it doesn't work out because of the cultural issues that happen when you cross cultures. Hmm. Which, for the record, I'm a fucking fan of. Hmm. I'm a fucking fan of. Like when I hear, oh, there's this new fusion restaurant, I'm like, ah, you mean like a Mexican and a fucking, somebody from Mexico and somebody from Italy started fucking? Hell yeah, let's do it. I'll put fucking noodles in a burrito. I don't give a shit. You know what I mean? I've often thought, what if it was a plate of noodles, refried beans, cheese, tomato sauce? Eh? You could roll that up in a burrito. Hmm. You could put fucking meatballs in there. I eat the shit out of that. You want to really fuck around? You could wrap that up in the egg roll paper. Hmm. Can dogs have yogurt? I'm pretty sure. Yes, most dogs can safely eat yogurt in moderation. The only problem you're going to run into is artificial sweeteners and sugars can make your dogs like hyper and shit. My wife and I, we found this restaurant around the corner has a chef. It's called Whiskey Business. It's like a play on words from Risky Business, where Tom Cruise plays as a bartender. It's a sweet ass flick. I was a bartender. So, by the way, I've flown airplanes, actual, jumped out of airplanes, actual. Italian genes are active. I don't know. I've never seen, I don't know anything about my lineage. Poor. I'm a poor. There was a MAGA posted about getting her check from Cheeto. I replied, I got mine. Cue the popcorn. Plain yogurt Greek. Yeah. Like, imagine thinking Donald Trump gives a shit about you. One of the things that Donald Trump won't do is he'll help you get into trouble, but he won't help you get out. One of the things that sticks out of my mind is that Donald Trump was a president of the United States and let Jeffrey Epstein go to prison to cover his own ass. And I'm not saying like Epstein didn't deserve to go to prison. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying he let that his best friend rot, bro. Threw Ghislaine in there too, bro. He threw his His best friend's wife threw that bitch in prison. Hmm? Hey, I'm just letting y'all know $600 ain't undoing this. You know what I'm saying? $600 ain't making me forget some shit. And I can't remember before Donald Trump, has there ever been a president that had to give money back to people? Morning, Crystal. Hey, we gonna have a good day today no matter what. Man, these billionaire CEOs are dropping like fucking flies, huh? That's tough. Mike Flood got flooded with complaints at his town hall. UTC said, I got three checks. Oh, George Bush did. Oh, another Republican? Why can't a billionaire be like SpongeBob and Patrick? They came up with a good burger idea, it skyrocketed, and they gave the money back to the community. I don't know, man. I was talking to my one of my clients yesterday, and they were at, or no, I was talking to the lady from marketing yesterday. She was asking me what the money's been like, and I said five figures each of the last 3 months. It's like life changing fucking money. And she's like, you get paid more than our executives do here. Love the video of the Handmaid's Tale falling float around. Ugh. See, here's the way I thought about it, Zeke. I thought I had the greatest idea for a business ever, and we were gonna take over 450 uh, family video units. And the financiers that I had initially started working with before um, Family Video's real estate unit moved and sold most of the units back to the locals, like another business already went in. We were going to put my business in 450 Family Video locations. And the people helping me set it all up were saying, you need to make your money back off your namesake right away. And I was like, what do you mean? And they said, okay, you know how if you go to open a state farm, because I was, for a moment, I was going to open my own state farm agency, which I would still do that too. I fucking love State Farm. It'll come back to only socks. Don't worry about it. But when I was meeting with the bank, they were telling me to charge a franchise fee. You can't run all these businesses by yourself. Charge a franchise fee to make sure someone is serious about running one of your businesses. I thought I'm supposed to pay them. What the fuck? You mean you think I ought to charge somebody six figures to run one of my businesses and then they get paid off what they make? And like a couple years from now, they'll be flush, they'll be square. And they're like, yeah, if you don't, they don't stick around. And I'm like, man, people job hop all the time. That's part of owning a business is knowing that your like staff's not gonna stick around, right? There's no need to be loyal, and it's about dollars. You go where the fucking money is. Hmm? So these people that were gonna give me millions of fucking dollars to build a business were telling me, hey, you gotta get money before you go into the community. You gotta be paid to come there. And I'm like, nah, 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 nah. Like, we're taking over 450, and they're like, well, not all 450 of those units do you need to put your business in. And I'm like, oh sure, there's towns that got two family videos in them. And they're like, no, there are entire regions of a state that have too many family videos. And I'm like, well, I'm competing with Starbucks for serving quality coffee both at the counter and out the window. And Family Video, they had a drive up window, and they always had an end unit. And that was the reason that we picked them, is because they were going out of business trying to dump their fucking real estate. And I had this idea to have something to do in a coffee shop that serves world class coffee. Like, I wanted a coffee shop that served the community. That was like, hey, let's say you want to be a baker, but you don't have a bakery. Bake your shit, bring it in, let the people that drink their coffee here in the morning try it. If it's good enough, high enough quality, people like it, all right, we'll agree to let you sell it. Pay me a fee to be able to sell here. This is a bazaar. There's a reason we called it bazaar, right? Like a bazaar, like an actual bazaar. The goal was to have like multiple companies. Like, I'm paying for the space. It's my coffee shop. But let's say someone wants to sell, I don't know, I'm making it up, pulling it out of thin air. Their Warhammer, their Warhammer 40K, all those little figurines and shit. How are you gonna move that if you don't have a place to set it up? That you don't have to play it right now and take it back down, where the owner can say, hey, you could have that table, you could set that up, and you could proffer that, so that when people come through, you could be like, hey, is anybody interested in getting into Warhammer? I'm trying to sell my painted figs, right? And the thing about it is, people are like, nah, man, I don't think people would buy a Warhammer set. Let me stop the naysayer right there. I was at a card shop, a not very popular one, right by where I live. It's called Saltier Games. What they did was so bad that they had to close down and move in order to survive, because what they did was wrong. But they didn't like Magic players and they preferred Warhammer players. I have seen someone pay thousands of dollars for painted figs in like some little dump store, like that nobody gives a fuck about. Yep, cash. Like, oh, you've got this army, and oh, you painted it. Oh, you got the army green and white and black. Oh, like, you got it painted all correct. I'll pay you $2,000 for that, and take someone's fucking Warhammer army out to their car, and bought that shit. So to say like, oh, people wouldn't just like totally buy that shit off that dude. And I don't need his money. But what it does is it brings a level of intrigue. You never know who's going to stop in and say, Jared, I've got this magic collection. And I look through it and I say, I don't really think this fits our store. But what's the deal? And it's, I got some sob story, right? I got a medical bill I got to pay. Okay, okay, okay. Um, I won't charge you nothing. Take that table over there, set out your collection, let them know. I tried to sell it to the store. Store said it wasn't really going to help our collection, but you're more than welcome to try to proffer that to the community as they come through. And if you can think about a local baker bringing in a bunch of stuff that they made in the morning, here's $100, Jared. Thanks, man. Cool, no problem. I'm gonna sell this shit. Hopefully, it brings you more business, right? And then you got somebody that came through trying to dump a Warhammer set, and they're selling their shit. This guy's selling his Magic collection. You got several people able to like profit off the space without actually having to pay to be in there. Like, for the record, the baker giving me a hundo, throwing me a bunch of their shit and saying sell my shit. The hundo is the thank you for the cleanup of the mess that I'm making by putting my product in your store, right? And the thing about it was, here's what happened. The idea was so good that the bank was like, nah, you gotta pull out a Family Video, and you gotta find old banks that have a drive up, that are end unit, that have a fucking kitchenette in it, that you can convert into a full kitchen. Because what will end up happening if your water quality is high enough and the quality of whatever you have in that unit, like the oven and shit, you could get a local baker to come in there and make their shit there in the morning and sell it there hot instead of like transporting their goods, and then they can go open their bakery and run their bakery, but they're getting a leg up in the morning by showing up at your shop, making sure there's fresh shit on the counter, and then I'm gonna go set up in my shop and watch the people come in, get a little biscuit with their coffee. Oh, where's this from? Oh, across the road. Oh, okay, cool. And they're immediately gonna go fucking go over there. Yep. Yep. I fucking love Nintendo. I don't know what you're talking about. You picked the wrong company. You could have said Microsoft, and I would have just let it slide, Zeke. I'm just kidding. Tendo's my shit. But yeah, and so my thought process was, why can't you have like a card shop, like a Magic the Gathering card shop, or a Pokemon shop, or a Yu-Gi-Oh shop, or what the fuck ever, Flesh and Blood, Star Wars Unlimited. Like there are a ton of TCG trading card games that if you have a master of the economy on, those things are lines of revenue where you can make a couple hundred to $1,000 a day per line of revenue, and it's technically cardboard. All of it is. But you split them up so that as those individual lines of revenue grow, you're not just a coffee shop slinging magic cards, because that's what the bank sees it as. Nah, I was like, not only do I want to be a coffee bazaar, right? Like a coffee shop slash bazaar, but I had thought about how to make money off 3D printing. And one of the things that I saw was people would be playing with their toys and break them, and then the toy is useless because of some little piece that I could just 3D print. It doesn't make you much money, but it gives you another service. That way, somebody comes in and says, "Hey, I'm missing three pieces to my Monopoly set. Hey, $2, and I'll just print those pieces. What color you want? Okay, here's your pieces. Have a good day." Like, I want to be able to. Obviously, you got to major in the coffee, right? The coffee's got to be great. But we found that. We found world class coffee, Newberg, Oregon, Caravan Coffee, hosted and taught my wife and I how the Gold Coast does coffee. Like a pour and shit like that. What's funny, Zeke, is that I don't buy the only games I'll spend money on every year are like NCAA football, which I didn't buy for more than a decade because they stopped fucking making it. I haven't bought Madden every year because Madden sucks. NFL Blitz was a better game. Um, I'll buy um, any football game. NBA 2K, I'll usually buy that, and I'll buy. I'm pretty much a lock for like a Grand Theft Auto, I think. But yeah, I was that close to owning my own business, and COVID made me not do that. And a lot of people that I've met that I've gotten to know are like super sad. Like, Jared, it's so sad you didn't get to chase your dream. You know, you had like this really good idea and you didn't get to capitulate. And every now and then I'll see one of my friends and their kid, and I'll get to hug my friend and shake my friend's child's hand, and that man will have told me, "Thank you for not opening that business. COVID would have killed us all." And knowing that we did the right thing by not forcing our hand when we had a good hand. We didn't have the right hand. We didn't have all of it, but we had a great idea and a great intent, uh, and I don't regret like making the decision to go a different direction. I don't regret it. Mm-mm. Nope, nope. I would have regretted opening it and going to a bunch of funerals for people that I care about way before it needed to happen. You know, because my wife has long COVID. You know what I mean? From working, and I can't imagine being surrounded by people with long COVID. You know what I mean? Like my wife has for sure changed. She doesn't have the same energy she used to have. Doesn't make me love her less, but it makes me recognize like COVID did that. She used to have more gas. Hmm. And how what would I think of myself if I had been such a capitalist? I've been poor my whole life. Finally have a good idea, got an investor, was on the path and said, "You know, it is incredibly selfish of me, incredibly selfish, it lacks foresight, and that's not me. That's not me. I'm the kind of person that has already thought it through, and we're still standing here. You know what I mean? Zeke said I got COVID twice. Hope you don't have long COVID. Mhm. Yeah, it just saps our energy. I'll see her like get excited and get into stuff, and then you can just tell that like the motor's not there. Hopefully over time she'll get her energy back. Gabby says she got it 3 times. I think Taylor's probably had it like 3 times. But you can have it and not have symptoms. You could just be a carrier. Mm-mm-mm. Awful lot of shit's on fire. Just want to point it out. Lost taste and smell. Yeah, Taylor did that. Lost taste and smell. I've had it a time or two, but I've worked from home since COVID hit. So UTC said her tongue's been messed up since she had COVID. Donald Trump had Eileen Cannon seal all evidence in the attempted assassination on Trump, citing exceptionally grave damages to U.S. national security. I just want to point out that Donald J. Trump, the President of the United States, ordered his own assassination and the guy missed and killed someone else instead. And the reason that Eileen Cannon sealed all the evidence is so that it doesn't come out that Donald Trump paid to have himself assassinated and it failed because he didn't want to follow through with it. Miss Marcia said air quality's horrible here in Missouri. Bob said same with being a firefighter and MS. What is MS? Like being a firefighter and having MS? Mean you got to watch your baby grow up and didn't have to work through COVID? Damn the damned. Canton has been on the Grand Canyon has been on fire for a month and getting worse. Destroyed so many historic structures. Also, they can resettle it. Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Having MS. Donald Trump's doing all this shit about elections. That makes more sense to me now, Bob. Thank you. Um, Donald Trump's doing all this shit regarding elections ahead of the Rockland suit. So, by the way, I've been tagged multiple times in some white boy saying I don't cares video, and I don't even know who that fucking turd is. So, congratulations for finding someone else that doesn't look like me that says even dumber shit than I do. hmm I commented on that person's shit and said, "You made a big ass video and said fucking nothing." Way to continue to divide us. Great job. Great job. hmm Damn. Stories like wildfire. Here's Huffington Post. The Order with Jude Law. Multiple articles about how Donald Trump's trying to. They're showing all these trade deals that Donald Trump's signing are like murky. It's from the New York Times. I think that's relevant. It's about The Election Administration and Voting Survey 2024 Comprehensive Report, a report from the U.S. Election Commission to the 119th Congress, released June 2025. It's over 300 pages. It talks about among states that reported data, 585,457 ballots were reported to have been set aside for curing, which 317,191 were successfully cured by voters, and 270,753 votes were ultimately rejected. So there's a 250,000 votes. And then the states with the largest number of mail ballots rejected for other reasons were Oregon, Arizona, Pennsylvania, New York, New Jersey, and Florida. That's not sus at all. The states with the highest percentage of mail-in ballots rejected for other reasons were Oregon, Idaho, Ohio, Wisconsin, Virginia, and Arizona. Remember, one of the things that all of the research that we did regarding elections, election fraud is most likely to occur in a tight election. Remember, Donald Trump won this election by the smallest amount in history. Yeah, but that's weird. It's weird to me to say because Donald Trump and MAGA questioned the results of the last two elections, it's I don't want to be like them and question the result of the latest one. That's fucking insane. What are we talking about? Those things aren't the same at all, right? They just happen to be elections. That's the only thing that those things have in common. 24, 20, and 16. The only things they got in common is they're all elections. And people are like, oh, Democrats don't want to be like MAGA. And how? And question the results of an election. And? What? The difference is in both 2016 and 2020, all of those people that are questioning the results of the election, they were all wrong. So, hey, let us be wrong once. Maybe we're wrong. Maybe too many fucking people stayed home. Maybe you're right. But if you're a white person and you're saying give up, the gig's up, this shit ain't you know what I mean? Like, uh, prove it to me. You're nothing. You're a nobody. I don't even know who you are. Yeah. Thanks for your nothing burger. Bush only won because his brother's governor of Florida. Yeah, the people doing the fucking Law and Order dance is hilarious. Yes, we're not storming the damn Capitol. Yeah, you want the math and the data. And the thing about it is, every data analyst I know, every data analyst worth their weight in. Where's Steven Spoonamore? Where's Jackie Singh? Working. Jack Smith, Kamala Harris. Where are these motherfuckers at? Where you think they're at? Unraveling this thing. Hmm. I'm telling you, they're trying to figure out how they uh, how they did it and reverse engineer it so you can prove it in a court of law. Hmm. That's what the fuck is happening. Yep. Here's the thing though. I've never heard someone say we're not questioning the results of this election because we don't want to be like MAGA. I've only heard people say Dems don't want to be like MAGA and question the results of the election, and it's like, what the fuck are you talking about? Every data analyst worth their weight in salt. Steven Spoonamore, the guy that literally investigates every election and has for like the last 20 plus years. Where are these motherfuckers at, bro? Where's Jackie Singh? Where's Steven Spoonamore? Right? Hey, You know what? Peace to Hassan, right? Remember peace? Remember Hassanabi? Uh, he said the other day he listened to Kamala Harris on Colbert over and over and over again, and she wasn't saying nothing. I want to cheer for her, but that was a fucking nothing burger too. She said she ain't running for governor. She said the system's broken, needs fixed from within. She conceded way too fast. I don't mind a recount. Mm-mm. Nah, get it right. Let's make sure. Let's make sure before we throw our democracy away and give it to a bunch of billionaires that are gonna get whacked. By the way, why the fuck would you give money to someone that's about to die? I don't get it. I don't get it. Yep. I think people were too obsessed with decorum and not obsessed enough with saving our democracy. And too many elected officials were obsessed with profiting off of their position and not off of saving our democracy. And as I've said before, I'm a socialist. I would have called myself a democratic socialist, but you tend to drop the title of a failed idea. The problem in this country is that we have a two-tier justice system, which disproportionately affects poor people, women, people of color, the elderly, and children. Hmm. So I would love to call myself a Democrat if I somehow felt like democracy was for all of us. When the person with the most experience in your governmental system says it's broken, it's time for a new governmental system. I've been saying socialism. Hmm. And I will fight those corporations hand and fist. The rest of my life, fuck them. All of them go out of business. If your idea is not sustainable without the tortured existence of other people, then it doesn't deserve to exist. Yeah. Gabby, I imagine it's a lot of, and they held me back by the waist and covered my mouth and would not let me speak. Um, she's profiting. She's using it to make money, to to fill her campaign coffers. I know. I'm thinking I might have enough income because I don't have to take the dog. I still have to take dogs to the vet, but I don't think it costs as much. I should be able to put the money up to get the account started to start fundraising to register on the FEC. But like I said, I want to make sure that I protect myself before I put myself out there. Because the thing that you have to do when you establish a political party, you have to put your name and address of the founder, the name and address of the treasurer. So there's a reason why nobody wants to fucking do this shit. Is because you're basically saying like, here I am, right? Well, I'm not doing that shit without uh, body armor and a gas mask and some way to defend myself. You know, because I'm fully expecting to have my house tear gassed at some point because I want everyone to have universal health care, education, income, and housing, and because I'm not a bigot and I'm pro equality and I'm also pro union. It's so easy It's so easy for me to say, how hard is it to want everyone to have health care? It's not very hard. I wake up every day and I'm like, man, I just wish everyone had health care. I hope that all of my friends that don't look like me, that are women and people of color and immigrants and non-English speakers, I hope people ain't racist and terrible to you today and a bigot to you today. That's what I hope. Because I can't do anything other than be like, man, I sure hope other people are learning off of me how I feel weightless, how I don't feel the weight of the world and all of these decisions that's going on around me weighing down on me because I didn't support those. I oppose those things. The weight's on them. The real weight's on them. They're struggling. Elon Musk basically could not handle it and had to get out of politics because he can't handle being uh, like held accountable. How does her campaign fumble her finance to the point she owes? Right? I still think the information around that is garbo. You know what I mean? I don't think that we got the right information on her campaign finance. I feel like the numbers were all over the place and none of it was consistent. That's one of the main things about all this, because people keep saying like um, they didn't want Kamala Harris to be president and that it was a sexist thing. No, it's an accountability thing. Like, yes, 100% for the sexists in the room, it's easy to hate Kamala Harris because she's an accomplished woman. Sure, she represented accountability. And that's what all these billionaires were trying to escape. And here's the thing, though. Here's the thing. Yeah, he says he's forming some other the America First party, which is all billionaires and fucking crypto dude bros, and is also where MAGA is going. Remember, I've said this before. MAGA is going to take its ball and go home, leaving the Republican Party with no monies. They're not going to be winning shit. That Republican Party is going to be reduced to rubble, and MAGA is going to take its ball and go to the America First Party. I'm calling it. Hmm. And my hope is that everybody that isn't America First or MAGA realizes that the Republican Party don't have the money, the Democrats don't have a platform, and they start looking around. What is this American Socialist Party? Oh, the guy hosts a daily live podcast where we discuss news and politics. I'm going to get a degree in political science. I'm healthy. I should live a long and happy life. I should be able to advise a political party for a long fucking time with no actual intentions myself of running for political office. No, because I'm not a fucking cretin that needs power in order to feel happy. I just need the place that I live to not fuck it all up. I'm doing pretty good. I need the people around me to do good and not fuck it all up. Hmm. Yeah, particularly my elected officials. Hmm. So, hey, have a good rest of your day. Stay safe out there. See you tomorrow.